Part 3 in the final video of the series on Joubert's Pass covers the last 6 kilometers of the descent. The hand-packed stone wall coming up on the right has an interesting story attached to it. The story goes that one of the adventurous teenagers in Lady Grey, then aged 15, decided that he and his friends would take his mother's Audi for a joyride up the pass. They made it to the summit, but on the way back down, young Jan lost control of the Audi and it rolled down the mountainside. Fortunately, the injuries were minor, but it is said that there were some unforgettable parental consequences that followed. If the road is quiet, you can stop next to the stone wall and scan the slope to locate the wreck of the Audi, which remains there to this day. We pay tribute to these fine farmers who had the courage to tackle a project of this magnitude with no formal engineering and simply applying the maxim, "A boer maak 'n plan." Not only did they construct this pass at a cost less than a quarter of the amount estimated by the professional surveyors, but they chose their lines so precisely that the pass has lasted for more than 100 years and continues to serve the very farming community for which it was first built. It's a truly remarkable achievement that deserves to be lauded by every South African. At the intersection coming up, the left-hand road leads to a small quarry, and the right-hand track leads down the slope to the lovely Lady Grey Dam. This is the first of 2 access roads to the dam, with the second one leading to a pretty picnic site at the foot of the dam wall. Before 1856, farmers in this area attended the church in Allowal North. Primitive transport, bad roads, rivers and other obstacles made it quite an ordeal to go to church. After approval by the Church Board of Allowal North, it was decided to purchase the farm Vaihoek from the Botha brothers for the establishment of a new congregation. The Governor, Sir George Grey, also gave permission to name the place after his wife, Lady Grey. The land surveyor, Mr. Orpen, measured the farm as well as the first 150 erven. The first church, completed in 1860, was built on a hillock in the middle of the town. The Reverend from Allowal North conducted a service in Lady Grey once a month. In 1863, Reverend David Ross from Scotland accepted a call from the congregation of Lady Grey. When he arrived, Lady Grey consisted of a church, parsonage, 2 shops and a few houses. Learned, multi-skilled man, and he used his land surveyor's chain to measure more erven in the town. The first hotel was on Earth 213 and it belonged to Mr. Lee. This building was demolished in 1865. He had offered the building and surrounding property to the newly established Commission of Managers of the school to use as a school and teachers' residence. This was in exchange for free education of his own children. The first teacher was Mr. Reeders, and the first old magistrate court was also a post office and a jail on the opposite side of the same earth. It was built in 1889 and evacuated in 1923 when the current magistrates and post office building was completed. Before the Anglo-Boer War, there were no poor white people in Lady Grey. During the war, black people were paid well in service of the British, and after the war they had more than enough to keep them going without having to work. White people, destitute after the war, moved to Lady Grey and started to work as labourers. These people established themselves on the outskirts of the town. Businesses did well during the war, and many buildings were erected just after the war. The railway between Lady Grey and Aliwal North was completed in 1905. The town then became an important trading centre. People crossed the mountains from Lesotho to purchase goods in Lady Grey. Large trading stores sold almost anything, including saddles, wallpaper, haberdashery, food and sweets. At that time there were 3 hotels: the Poplar Hotel, the Central Hotel and the Commercial Hotel. The Church of England and Methodist Church were built in 1906, and the Dutch Reformed Church was demolished in 1911, then rebuilt and completed in 1913. The building that houses the Lady Grey Arts Academy was built in 1926 and named the David Ross School after the Reverend David Ross. The Lady Grey Dam, also known as the Reservoir or Groot Dam, was completed in 1925. From the 1960s, the town experienced an economic decline and reached an all-time low in the mid-1990s when the David Ross School dropped to primary school status. The changeover of the school to an arts academy brought revival to Lady Grey again. As the academy grew, people saw the potential of Lady Grey and started to invest in property and businesses. Old buildings were bought and restored, and Lady Grey became the sought-after destination of today. The pass ends just on the outskirts of the town at the 10.7 kilometer mark at an altitude of 1,725 meters. There are full facilities available, including banking and fuel.